These are the left dominant, it says there, skills of the upper part of the brain, the cerebral cortex. One of the advantages of the mind map software is that you can test yourself. You've seen it, I've just told you. So now check your visual associative memory. What was the first skill? Well done. What was the second skill? Well, now as you're answering these questions, think about what's happening. And how does it feel when you get it right? And how does it feel when you don't get it? What was the next one? Lines it was, well done. Next one? It was. Logic, very good. Logic, by the way, I put therefore x equals. Logic is a therefore thinking process. This and this and this, therefore this. What was the last one? Analysis. And analysis is discrimination. It's the ability to recognize differences, to drill down, to differentiate. So those are the left dominant skills. So we are now already on the right side. What are the right dominant skills? Creativity, I hear. What else? Art, imagination, music, pictures, creativity, emotion. Okay, let's check what Sperry actually found. Rhythm. Color. And you can change that word to colors, make it plural. And I emphasize these are skills that we can learn. Shapes. Maps. Gestalt is a German word, Gestalt, and it means the whole picture. So kind of whole picture awareness. The next two you will like. Imagination, a skill, and I've broken it into imagination to emphasize that imagination is your image generating factory. And finally, daydreaming. Daydreaming as a skill, not as something you shouldn't do in class. Daydreaming as a skill which you develop. So the role of the teacher should not be to stop the child daydreaming. The role of the teacher should be to encourage the child to daydream and then give the child things worth daydreaming about and then help the child make those dreams come true, which is what all the geniuses did. That's the only defining characteristic. All human brains are fundamentally brilliant. All daydream, all enjoy their daydreams, all daydream nearly all day, as they should be. The genius is the one who takes the daydream and works to make that dream come true. And that's what the teacher, the parent, has the privilege of doing with the child. So those are what are known as the cortical skills. So next, a series of questions. And I want you to answer immediately and with volume. On what side of the brain is music? What side of the brain is science? What side of the brain is art? What side of the brain is business? What side of the brain is academia? What side of the brain is creativity? Now, I ask you questions, you respond. I'm going to respond to your responses to my questions. And my responses to you are wrong, 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 and seriously into the swamp, wrong. If you believe what you have just said, your creativity, I promise you, I'll give you a lifetime guarantee of its decline. So you said you knew what the two sides were, and we are now calling this seriously into question. And if you think you know something, and you don't know what you think you know, and what you think you know is wrong anyway, then the swamp beckons. So I'm not going to give you any more information, but I'm going to ask you to use your logic, use your analytical ability, use your awareness, use your intelligence to think intelligently about where music is up there, where science is up there, where academia, business, art is up there, and where the topic of our day, creativity, is up there. And I want you to chat on your tables as a little group of analysts and scientists, as you are. Analyze it. You've got a hypothesis. We were wrong. Do the experiment, the thinking experiment, get a result, and come to a conclusion. Where are those 6 things in the cortex? Starting now. Rounding those off. Now let's, as they would say in Bollywood and Hollywood, we'll do a take 2. I'm going to ask you the questions, and you respond individually as to what you think the answer is. On what side of the brain is music? Correct. What side of the brain is business? What side of the brain is science? What side of the brain is art? What side of the brain is education? What side of the brain is creativity? And what side of the brain are you going to use for the rest of your lives? Now, just think about that for a moment. 3 minutes ago, you were saying music was on the right. Science was on the left. Art was on the right. Business was on the left. Academia on the left. Creativity on the right. Horrendous. Because if you'd gone on believing that, and you wanted to be creative, you'd be like many organizations and many people trying to be creative. And if you're trying to be creative, what's your brain naturally going to do? Mimic and copy what it thinks creative is. And if it thinks that creative is the right side of the brain, that's what it will do. And I've visited many art colleges where they are describing art as a right brain function to their students. And their students believe it, and being good students, copy right brain. And I've actually gone there, and you say to one of these students, tell me about your art. Tell me about that painting. And you get a response something like this. It's kind of, yeah, man, well, it's like creativity, man. Know what I mean? It's, it's kind of, it's imagination. Know what I mean? It's, oh wow, there's another idea. Wow. Wow. You can't really put it into words, man. I mean, um, it's so cool being creative. And what do those poor, misled students create? Nothing. No order, no structure, no analysis, no real sculpture, no study of the geniuses in art, all of whom were totally analytical, totally mathematical, totally structured, totally imaginative. And companies are doing the same thing. They've got the creativity group. What? When the entire company is filled with potentially creative genius brains, and you isolate a few of the right-brained creatives who create nothing, and then bring a bad name to creativity. So within 3 minutes of applying your cortical skills, you all came up independently with the correct answer. Both, 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 both. Linear note-taking is what side dominant? Left. So we have been brought up on the left. Mind mapping is what side? Who said right? A detention and 100 lines for you. So what side of the brain is mind mapping? Both. So when you are doing a mind map, you are actually in the process exercising your cortical skills. And the mind map uses it all. Now the question then is, if you're doing linear note-taking, which is using half the cortex, what percentage of your brain is actually being used if you're using only half of it? Yeah, I mean, it's blazingly obvious, isn't it? 50%. But it's not 50%. It is not 50%. Because the brain, and this is in a sense what you recently just discovered, is synergetic, i.e., it doesn't add 1 plus 1 equals 2. It's 1 plus 1 equals more than 2. Synergetic means multiplier. So what happens symbolically in the brain is that information goes in one side, is transferred to the other, expanded, sent back, expanded, sent back, expanded, so that words are added to rhythm. Rhythm and words are added to analysis. Rhythm and words and analysis are added to color. And on it builds and builds like this. Synergetic. So if we are using only one side, we lose what? The synergy. And the synergy is what it's all about. So if you are using only one side, what percentage are you using? Less than 1. Because you've lost all that phenomenal multiplying capability, all that strengthening of every part by every other part. And all the studies show that if you use it, potentially the capacity is infinite. It's an infinite capacity. So we've looked at multiplying the branches on a mind map. Infinite. Look at the left and right cortex and how